Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing today? Happy Friday. Another inside vlog, sitting in the chair. Okay, so I did not realize yesterday when I was sitting here, you guys, I don't just wear these reading glasses for fun. I mean, I do like how they look. I do like how they look, but I don't just wear them for fun. You guys are literally like a foot away from me right now. Maybe like a foot and a half. I can see myself. I can see myself right there. I can see my shirt, the leaf over here that's trying to take over. I can see everything, but it's very blurry. Okay, so I have to wear reading glasses, but I don't want to wear my reading glasses through the entire, I wear them so much anyway when I am watching my iPad late at night, when I'm, reading books and all that kind of stuff, when I'm at the computer, that when I'm vlogging, I just have to kind of sit here and relax and talk to you guys. So I can kind of see when it's like way out of focus, but if it's just kind of like average out of focus, which for you is always out of focus, then I don't really notice it unless I put my reading glasses on, right? So a couple times yesterday throughout the vlog, I kept on hitting the thing and I was like, oh, it's out of focus, right? And then I would try to focus it. When I started putting it together yesterday, I did not realize that like the entire thing was out of focus. I had no clue. A couple people commented and were like, as soon as you like came inside, it was like out of focus and whatever. I just totally did not even realize it because I couldn't see it. So I guess I should probably check right now. The other thing is that when I put my reading glasses on sometimes, it focuses on the reading glasses. And so then like if it was out of focus 2 seconds before and I put the reading glasses on, because all of a sudden when I put the reading glasses on, the box appears. And so what happens is because there's something prominent in the screen, I guess I'm not prominent enough. I guess I'm not relevant enough. When I put the glasses on, it all of a sudden focuses on the glasses. So when I have the glasses on, it looks like it's completely focused. Like right now, it feels like it looks like it's in focus. But then I take them off and I think it fades out again. I don't know. I can't figure it out. But we just got back from brunch, and on our way to brunch, I said to Alex, we were outside talking to all of our neighbors and stuff. I said, when I get back, I think I'm going to vlog out on the front porch. But now they've kind of like rotated where they're working, and so they're kind of in the front of the house, like working on our neighbors, and so they're playing like music out there. They're walking back and forth and talking. So to sit on the front porch is really, really loud. I will say this, I posted a picture on my Instagram, so I'll give you a little update on the roof. Okay, first of all, I posted this picture on, do I have updated pictures? I think I do. I posted the picture. Also, somebody said when I show pictures, I show them for like 0.2 seconds. And then people, they can't see them at all. Okay, before we get into this update, let's do a time and temperature check. Okay, so it is currently 3:15 p.m. and the temperature, it was supposed to be like 82 today. It is really, really warm outside. Oh my God, it is currently 85 degrees. I was just telling Alex that it would be a really, really good pool day today. Unfortunately, the pool's not open yet. So Alex has tonight, he said he's upstairs right now watching TikToks and stuff with his AirPods in. He said he was not sure what time he's leaving, but like at 5:15, he is meeting 2 of his coworkers and they're going to one of his employer's daughter's graduation open house tonight. So it's like they're doing that together. No, I'm not going. So they're doing that together and then they might do something for a little bit afterwards, but he wasn't sure. So my plan is, I've kind of made a decision. Like there's a lot of videos from my drama channel that I could talk about. I'm actually going to talk about it over here in a little bit. Just kind of talk to you about where I'm at with all that kind of stuff in the drama channel. I am going to make those videos. People have been sending me stuff nonstop, so I'll get to that in just a second. But and I have like some TV videos to make. I have like the Poly Family video to make. I wanted to do this Love After Lockup video. I have all kinds of videos. I was gonna like walk down and do another pool video. The people had suggested that I show like the construction and where they're at on it. Part of the problem with that is that at any given time, there's probably like 5 or 10 people in the surrounding yards and probably 10 people on our roofs. So obviously I don't want to like, put them on camera. So I'm gonna have to wait till it's all done. So, but I was thinking earlier, I was like, well, first of all, I don't feel real stressed. I feel very peaceful. It was so interesting. Oh, who was the comment from? I read the comment and I was talking about my life being lame and they said, I loved this comment so much because I was like, do you ever feel a certain way, but you don't know that you can't really like put words to it? Like at least not in that moment, like maybe later. But somebody left me this comment and I loved it so much what they said. They said, no, you're looking for peace. Where is the comment? Anyway, whoever said it. Oh, here it is. This is from Felicity. She said, peace. You are excited for peace. It's not lame at all. Best feeling in the world. I love that so much. Thank you for that, Felicity. I feel very peaceful. I feel silly. I feel happy. I feel joyful right now. And it's not too loud today. This morning, it was really, really loud. But it's not too loud today that I couldn't film videos. Obviously, you can hear it. They kind of like, it comes and goes. And I'm gonna do a whole update on what the last 24 hours is like. But right now, like, this is not bad at all. So I could film videos. But, you know, I was like, and people are sending me all this stuff they want, you know, we want to hear what you have to say. And that means so much to me that people care what I have to say about certain stuff. But I was just like, you know what? Unless I feel absolutely driven tomorrow, it's supposed to rain tonight. So if it rains tonight and tomorrow, and they're not out here at all, then I'm kind of, you know, like, I might make some videos. But I'm really thinking that I'm probably just going to vlog through the weekend and then Monday come back full force on all of my channels, like 7 videos for the next, like, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is my plan. So we're just going to see how that kind of goes. But also then, I mean, a lot of the stuff that people want me to talk about in the YouTube drama and stuff, well, I'll talk about that later. So anyway, last night, we went to Cafe Patashu for brunch, and this is the coffee. It's French vanilla coffee today that I brought home, and Alex had a bowl of tomato artichoke soup and a Coke, and then he had the Cuban, and then I had a cup of the red curry lentil soup. I'm like obsessed with the soup. I'm absolutely obsessed with it. I had a cup of it and I had whole wheat toast with butter. So that's what I had. And then I brought the coffee home and it was delicious. We sat outside. It was really like there weren't a lot of people there today at all. They said that they were slammed earlier. So we sat outside. It was beautiful outside. And then just got home and then I'm vlogging and then I finished the book last night and I started a new one. So I've got a whole story to tell you about the book thing. Okay, so let me tell you about last night. So, first of all, this is like the beginning of it last night. I actually made some sound recordings for you guys. This was like right after I got done vlogging last night, okay? Which one is, okay, I have 2 of them. This is like right after I got done vlogging last night. This is sitting right over there. This is the next one. So I was sitting there and this is like on top. So it started really, really light, okay? I don't know what time I got done vlogging yesterday, but it started really, really light. And then it got more and more and more. And Alex was upstairs resting. I was listening to this audiobook and with my AirPods in and whatever, like it really wasn't that bad. I sat down here like when I was waiting for the vlog to get up and stuff like that and I watched The Amazing Race, which I thought was the finale, but it was like the one leading up to the finale. A couple of people reached out to me and asked me, they were like, I really want to know what you think about it. My feelings about Amazing Race have not really changed. First of all, they left it on you don't know who gets kicked off, whether it's Jonathan and Anna or Josiah and I can't think of his wife's name, but Josiah and his wife are the ones that I really, really like. I actually have to be honest with you, like Hannah and Holden, I have like really learned to love and respect throughout the season, the siblings. So, I don't know, there's just something about them, like they don't ever give up. Like Jonathan is so ready to give up at any moment if he's not gonna be first. And he's just so rude to Anna, his wife. He just like, he talks to her so bad. He's like, shut up, don't talk to me right now. And she's like, yeah, but look at these mountains. And she's like, you're just complaining. And he's like, it doesn't matter if I'm complaining. I mean, he's just so rude to her. I don't know if he realizes how he comes across on TV, but if that's how you come across on TV edited, like, I don't know, it's sad to me. And so, and then the 2 gay guys that are like the Dungeons and Dragons friends, like I really, really like them. In all honesty, like they probably deserve to win. I feel like they've played the best game and they've played the hardest game. They're so funny. They remind me actually of 2 friends that I have that are actually a couple that aren't just friends. Does anybody wonder that if you're watching it about them, like why they aren't a couple? Like they seem like they get along. I mean, you know, it's whatever, but I'm like, I don't know. The one guy, I can't think of what his name is. He's the one that describes himself as a little bit nerdier. Because he always is talking about how the other guy's like stronger. I feel like he kind of has a crush on his friend a little bit. But I like them. And one of the things I like about him is no matter if they're like lost or whatever, they're like, this is just part of the game, you know? It's like, this is just part of the game. So I watched that, and then I was listening to this book, Hidden Pictures. And so finally I was like, I've got to lay down. I am so tired. So when the vlog was like uploaded, I like scheduled it to post, and I was like, I'm gonna lay down for a couple hours. And so I went upstairs, and I don't know what time this would have been. I think it was like 7:30, 7:45 or something like that. And Alex was like half asleep, like looking at TikToks and stuff. We were both so tired. And the like what I played for you was like 6 of them doing it at the same time right on top of our head. And it was like, there was like a pattern to it. I mean, there was no way, with the fan on and everything, there was no way. I can't sleep with AirPods in or headphones on. I just was like, I cannot sleep. And I kept on looking at the clock. I mean, I knew that, first of all, they are doing a fantastic job. They are so nice. They are so considerate. They are very, very quick. The job is like, our roof is pretty much done. They're doing some extra stuff to ours and hers, but the next two are what they're doing. But ours is like, well, everything's laid, so you can see what it's going to look like. They have to do the finalizing stuff tonight and tomorrow. But you can see what it looks like. The roof looks so nice. Like, Alex walked out there today because we were talking to our neighbors, so we had to like move cars and stuff because they've got, you know, like our neighbor has a dumpster. They had a truck parked in our driveway, and so we were talking to our other neighbors. And Alex looked up and he was like, it just looks so nice. It's gonna look so beautiful with the gray paint. But last night, it was funny because, you know, a couple people commented, and not just on the vlog, but like my friends were like, oh, there's no way. They're gonna end at like 5 or 6. They're not gonna, I was like, okay, well they said, you know, one of my neighbors yesterday said, well, they're gonna be out there until like across the street when they did it till the sun went down and all this kind of stuff. And I thought, are they really though? Like, can they, you know, can they keep, I mean, are they really gonna stay out there that late? I finally, like, I looked at Alex, and it was like 8:45 or something like that. I mean, it was literally like there was just a little bit of, I was like, I cannot believe that this is going on so long. He's like, well, we knew that. He was like, you knew that this was out. I was like, yeah, I knew, but I didn't really think they were going to stay out there this long. I mean, at this point, you're talking, and it's like, it's probably 10 men and 10 women, and they are working their asses off out there in the heat. I feel so bad for them. You're talking like 14-hour day. So anyway, so I looked at the clock, and it was like 8:58. I was like almost asleep, and it just went silent. So they did not leave here last night until like 8:58. So I slept last night. I was like out. Like, I mean, I was out last night. And I slept until 11 something. I think 11:30, 11:20 or no, it wasn't that late. I don't remember. But anyway, yeah, I think it was that late. I think it was like about 11:30. I mean, I woke up and I was like, oh my God, where am I? Like, because I really only got like an hour and a half, 2 hours of sleep, or what, I don't even know, an hour the night before. So, just to put this in perspective, well, we got this email today, which I'm going to let you guys know about the update on the painting and all this kind of stuff. Now I'm like worried this is out of focus. See, I don't usually worry about it when I can see the box around my face. You guys can't see it, but I can see it because it's like, okay, it's focusing on my face. So I'm like, well, it's probably not out of focus, right? So, you know, they're supposed to be out here between 7 and 7:30. It's whatever at this point, you know. I mean, it's 3-4 days of our life. But this morning, I literally, like, I cannot wink. I cannot open one eye, but I felt like I just opened one eye really big, like in a cartoon, you know? I looked at the clock and I was like, what time is it? Because it was like, I think it's where they're laying the things down and then they like go or something like that around it. I don't know what they're doing, but it's like this pattern. It sounds like a nail gun, and it's like if you've ever had your roof done, you'll know what I'm talking about. And I look at the clock and it's like 6:12, and I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, seriously, 6:12. So they're trying to get it all done by tomorrow is the plan. So the email, the update on it, hold on, let me see if I can pull this up for you guys to give you guys, I know so many people are so many people, nobody is invested in the story of the roofing. I know when I say that, people will be like, Peter, I am. Okay, here's the annual maintenance update. The roof replacement is going well, and they plan to be done by Saturday, but if weather becomes an issue, it may be Sunday. So I guess they're planning on working out here Sunday too. I did not know that. The painters will begin on Tuesday, May 20th, and that's supposed to take 3 or 4 days. Now, a couple of you guys, well, people have reached out to me, and you guys have told me that the painting is like really, really quiet and stuff like that. I mean, if it's not nail guns and all that kind of stuff, and they're like on a break right now, I think, because when we pulled in, they were kind of like, it looked like they were like getting ready for lunch and stuff. obviously, I mean, it's silent right now. I can film videos. So Monday, I will be back fully to filming videos. But also, I think, yeah, it says, the painters will begin on Tuesday, May 20th. Thank you for your patience and cooperation. So by the end of next week, our condos will be completely done. I'm so excited about it. So maybe next weekend, I can get all the planners and everything for the back porch and the front porch. And yeah, there has been some, okay, so one of my hostas is absolutely destroyed. One closest to me on the right. My neighbor down there, this is why I didn't want to do anything until, I mean, it's just expected. It's gonna happen, and I know that. They put the tarp down, but I think they laid something on top of the tarp, not knowing that the hosta was in there. It's like all the leaves are literally bent in half. So it's, the hosta is like, it's killed. But that's the only, like, there's one at the very end that's not doing great, but it'll be okay. So I don't know, does anybody know about hostas? Like, I'm gonna ask my neighbor across the street, if I cut them off, will they like grow back, or what should I do with it? I mean, they're all bent over. I mean, it looks like it's dead. But that's the only one. My neighbor down there, like a whole ladder fell, like they had it like leaned up and it fell sideways, and it just like took out all her flowers. But we kind of knew, I mean, they told us, like, you know, like to do all this kind of stuff, and they've tarped everything and whatever. I will say, I do not want to invest in a new couch for our patio this year. And I'm looking, I can see it right through this crack right here in oh, so many people were like, navy blue would look really nice in here. Yeah, I think so too. It'll kind of depend on what we end up, like when we get all this stuff done, what we end up doing as far as furniture. But, the couch is like pulling apart and old. I don't know that it really matters because I probably won't use it that much this summer. And I don't think Alex probably will either. I think we should probably wait until next year to get another couch and chair. Is it out of focus? I don't know, I'm sorry. Anyway, so that's the roofing update. So weather permitting, remember I kept on saying it looked like it was gonna rain last night? I think it rained, it's like for just a little bit, but they worked straight until 8:58. But then tonight, because Alex and I were talking about him going to this open house, and I said, what time are you going there? Because you know, like open houses are from like 5 to 8 or 5 to 10 or whatever. And I said, because I had looked at the weather, because I wanted to see if they were gonna be able to get this done today. And there's like a storm risk or something. Hold on, it says thunderstorms possible after 7 p.m. But it said 6 p.m. earlier. What is this? Oh, now it's just, okay, before it was showing like 5 hours worth of storms. Now it's just showing from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. and then from 11 p.m. to midnight are the only times of storms. Because I was telling him you might want to get there earlier rather than later. And then tomorrow, generally sunny despite a few afternoon clouds. So yeah, they're gonna be done by tomorrow. I can't believe this. So anyway, like I said, I think I need kind of like a weekend of peace, and I'm gonna tell you why. So, I mean, not that I don't usually have a weekend of peace with my birds and stuff. Can I just tell you? So there is the stuff they're throwing stuff off the roof. There is so much stuff in our front yard. I think our front yard is like the congregation area of all construction needs or something like that. Because, like, they have all, like, their big coolers out there and stuff like that, and, like, the extra ladders, and, you know, I think they all are under, like, they have all this stuff under the tree. Well, because of that, the birds haven't come over for the last couple days. And so, like, when we were, so Alex parked down there because, like, well, our neighbors are parked in our driveway now because the truck that was in our driveway, they pulled out, and so he said she could move in here. And then there's a dumpster in their driveway. So anyway, when we were like walking back over from our car, Gertrude and Alice the geese were walking up here, and so I was like, oh, I almost like took them some food because I felt bad, but there's so many people in our front yard that they can't really, you know, the birds can't come over. I've noticed like in the evening when I sat out there like a little bit last night and they were like just on the roof, like over there and stuff preparing it, like a couple birds came over, but I think that they're like, the birds don't understand what's going on. So here's the deal. So I have been, you know, last week I did this video on my drama channel, and it was like this Jeffree Star video, and I called it kind of like this palette cleanse, and I really enjoyed doing that. And it was just kind of like a fun OG video to me. Kind of, okay, for me when I started doing my drama channel, it was very much like, I think it's very much like me today watching Sister Wives or watching like 1,000 Pound Sisters. I was so far removed from it that, and didn't really know that much about it, that I was kind of like just watching it from afar and having an opinion about it, right? And so it was all very just funny and tongue-in-cheek for me, you know? And it still is. Like the moment that when I made that Jeffree Star video last week, I had so much fun. I mean, that was literally like, I even said it was a palate cleanse. I think everybody that watches any kind of like commentary or knows what's going on in the world, there's this huge thing with James Charles going on right now. And yes, I'm aware that she made this response video. I have it all in my phone. And now people are coming out and talking about James Charles. And so people are wanting me to talk about it. I mean, you know, anyway, people from his past are coming out and speaking, and people are sending me all this stuff. And I'm like, I know people want me to talk about it. I understand that. You know, people are always like, Peter, you're a little bit older, you offer a different perspective. And I really appreciate that, because there's just enough people out there that will say, why are you so old talking about this? So when people say, you know, I said in one of my videos the other day, like, I understand that when people say that to me, it's because they're a lot younger. Like, I get it. Because like a 50-year-old wouldn't, I don't think, say, you know, that to me or whatever. But you kind of offer a different perspective. You see things in a different way when you've kind of gone through some stuff in life. You know what I mean? I don't know, maybe that's not necessarily an age thing, but I do think as you get older, you look at things differently. I definitely look at things differently at 52, almost 53 than I did at 45. It just is true, you know? And friends of mine that are in their 60s will say, well, like when you're in your 60s, you look at things differently, you know? And it's not just about turning 60. It's about things that come with it. It's like when, you know, once a month you get, you know, AARP invitations in the mail. Like, you can't not forget your age, right? Like, so, and if you're my age, you probably have received that as too. So, you know what I mean? It's like, so you're very cognizant of like the life choices that you've made and the things you've gone through. A lot of the things that people want me to talk about, I think are important to talk about. But they're very dark and they're very sensitive issues. And in all honesty, sometimes I don't really know that much about what people are wanting me to talk about. So then I have to go in and I have to watch all this stuff, which means I'm dedicating like an hour or 2 hours to watching interviews and podcasts and TikToks and YouTube videos of people sharing really horrific stuff that reminds me of things that I have gone through in my life. Things I've never shared online, you know, that I've never once shared online. Things that I have had some of my dearest friends and family members go through, which is why I'm very passionate about things like this. You know, it's like, and so it's really sometimes hard to just make a video even for a half an hour discussing this, because in my head I'm thinking about all this kind of stuff. It's not just about a video. And so I know that there's a lot of really heavy stuff that people want me to talk about, and in all honesty, I don't think this is the weekend for me to do it. I think that I need to like get a clear head about some things. I am like very peaceful and very serene, and I really want to look into things, and I've looked into a lot of it already, but I really want to look into it. I think the other thing is this too, is that, you know, years ago, if you watch my Peterisms channel, I talk a lot about being reactionary versus being responsive. And reactionary to me is like, if somebody hits you, you want to hit them right back. And being responsive is somebody hits you and then you go, oh, wait a second, like you hit me. And then the next day you come back and you go, you know, that really, I mean, you might want to hit it. And the next day you might go, you know what, boom. But you thought about it, you know. Or the next day you might want to come back and say, you know what, like that really kind of hurt my feelings, what you did. I've worked very, very hard at being responsive. And in one ways that I'm responsive is that back in the day, I had a tendency to, if something happened, I would jump right on camera and I would respond to it, you know? I don't know that it always served me well. I think that sometimes I got a lot wrong. Instead of kind of, I mean, I remember talking to my supervisor one time. I think I've shared this story before. And you know what? I was talking to Nikki the other night about like this lesson that I learned from my supervisor. I want to share that. But I remember this one time, So our supervisor was over several different programs, outpatient programs, inpatient programs, residential programs, and there were only so many group rooms, like, out, you know, off our unit. And so at night, like, all these outpatient programs were like, they all wanted, like, this one room. And people were bringing her, I think it was the chart, like, not the charge nurse, what was her title? I don't remember. And my supervisor that were working together. And I remember, like, what she said, and I learned so much from this situation, but not, like, in that moment. You know, like, when you like, store a lesson? Have you ever done this? You, like, store a lesson, like a recipe, and then you bring it out 20 years later, right? So I remember saying to her, like, I don't understand, like, you haven't made this, I wasn't even really in it, honestly. And I can remember saying, I don't really understand why you haven't made this decision, like, you know, whatever. And she's like, so you don't really see my process, but my process is that I'm not going to just hear everybody's complaints and make, like, a jump to decision about this group room, you know? She's like, I'm going to listen to what everybody has to say. I'm not going to react to them. I'm just going to take in the information. I might walk by the group room that night myself and see what I think it serves best purpose. I might sit on it for a little bit and then I'll make my decision. I don't have to react to it. I can respond. And you know what? And I thought in that moment, like, that stored lesson, I thought that is so smart, you know? Because she's making a really well thought out decision instead of just jumping on it. You know, it's kind of like in recovery where we talk about sleep on it, pray on it. Don't, you know, like, people in recovery all the time talk about drafting emails and don't hitting send till the next day. You know, it's like that kind of idea. I did that for a long time. I think my mentality really about it changed a lot when I started taking notes for my TV channel. Because when I took notes for my TV channel, I showed you guys the other day of, like, what they look like and whatever. I felt so prepared in doing a video. Like, I felt very, very prepared in, like, presenting a video and doing a video and all that kind of stuff. In all honesty, sometimes I don't necessarily, especially if it's a very serious topic, I don't want to get on video and talk about it until I feel very prepared. I watch other people's videos and I'm like, they know everything about this. I don't. You know, I watch other drama and commentary videos and I watch them and I'm like, they've, like, literally kept up with this from day one and I don't understand it. Like, people ask me all the time, like, people have asked me a lot to talk about Ash Trevino, you know, and I've said, I don't know anything about Ash Trevino. I'm not going to tomorrow start making videos about Ash Trevino. When I started making videos about Amberlynn Reed years ago, I got eaten alive because I wasn't keeping up with what was going on with her. And so people were like, well, Peter, did you not know this or did you not know that? I couldn't even keep her girlfriend straight, let alone what was going on day to day with her, you know? And so for me, especially when it comes to serious topics, I love watching the drama, the commentary videos where people are covering stuff minute by minute. I love that because then it, like, helps me and keeps me up, right? But I don't feel like that serves me well. I feel like, as me doing it, I feel like I get stuff wrong whereas other people don't. And so I think for me, especially in some of these serious topics like this weekend, I need to kind of sit back. I think the other thing is, I used to always feel like I needed to rush out with a response, but then what would happen is I would make the video and then I would be like, oh, this is, you know, when we talk in recovery about, like, my old sponsor used to say to me about giving a lead, so a lead is when you go to a meeting and you share your story. You share about, in a 12-step program, where I was, how I got sober, and how I am now is basically what you share. So anyway, and I remember giving this lead one time, and my sponsor said to me, there's the lead you plan to give, the lead you actually give, and the lead that you wish that you gave. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, like, well, on the way, you have it in your head, what the lead you're going to give. Then you actually give the lead. That's the lead you give that you gave. And then afterwards, it's on the way home, it's the lead you wish you gave, right? And I think he was so accurate about that. Well, there's been a lot of times in videos, like, I don't really regret a video that I've made. I don't know. I would have to think through that question. I don't know. There might be a couple videos I regret making, but I think, like, I'm different today than I was. I don't have this rush to get on it today. I mean, maybe it's why I don't get as many views and my views are not great and stuff like that, because I'm not, you know, rushing out there to make the drama videos. But I also feel like, for me, I would rather look at all the information and then wait 4 days and respond to it, plus something else might come out in the 4 days, and that's just for me. You know, back in the day, I loved being in it and all that kind of stuff, but the other thing is I am such a believer in the idea that you have to first take care of yourself before you can take care of somebody else, or you have to give yourself something before you have something to give away, like that whole idea. if I'm gonna get on video, like this is something I've decided recently, like if I'm gonna get on video and talk about more serious topics, then I wanna feel that I am very, and like I feel like that this weekend, but I don't feel like I know all the information yet about some of those things. I wanna make sure that I'm like really, really calm and peaceful before I'm talking about all this stuff. I think it looks like the camera is almost, I can't tell if I'm y'all, I don't know how I can't see the focus on it, but I could see that I was almost at the 29-minute, 59-second mark. Anyway, so those two pieces together for me of having all the information and knowing it, and then also feeling like I'm in a peaceful state of mind. You know, there are moments when, have you ever felt like this? Tanya and I'll say this to each other, you know, that I'm not in a space to really be around people right now. Do you know what I mean? Well, that's also probably not a time for me to make a video, if that makes sense. And then the other thing is I gotta get a different setup for videos. Like I'm tired of filming in the bedroom. I need kind of a more professional setup or something. I gotta figure out something else like that. So y'all, I mean, we don't have a lot of places to work with around here. The lighting in front of the computer is horrible. The lighting in the back over there is really, really dark unless I use a ring light, and then it like completely washes me out. So I don't really know what I'm gonna do, but I have to come up with a new filming place. I know you guys are gonna be like, back in the chair. Well, this chair is probably not long for life because we're looking at other chairs. We're gonna probably in the next month or two get a new chair here. So, you know, this is the chair that Boo Radley used to dig in. And so I just was like, why get another chair? I mean, it's pretty destroyed in all honesty. I mean, the dogs like walked all over it, slept on it, you know, ate treats off of it. At this point, it's like, and I don't have like an emotional attachment to this chair either. Like that's one thing, but it's like, I always said it. I mean, you know, even until, well, right before Boo got sick, he would like dig in this chair. Remember that? I loved that. And so it's got a big gaping hole right underneath where I'm sitting. And so I'm like, let's not get a new chair until like Boo's gone, you know? So I don't know, we'll probably get a new chair here in the next month. But that's kind of where I'm at with the videos. Also, selfishly, I just kind of want to read and watch shows this weekend, and I feel like just have a universal palate cleanse and come back. And then like earlier this week, before all this started, and the week before, like I banged out videos. Like, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna think about this in a different way. I used to feel like I gotta film videos on all the channels 7 days a week. But like a lot of you guys catch up on my videos on the weekends or whatever your days are that are off, right? And so if I put out 3 videos on my Peter Does Stuff video, people will still watch them on the weekends. I can see like how it goes up and stuff like that, right? And so I'm like, you know, I don't necessarily need to do that. I don't know. I'm just kind of feeling like I just want to read and watch TV tonight. I have to tell you, I've been really, really good still with the eating, but last night, so I'm watching Happy Face. I talked about that last night, which is about the Happy Face killer. It is so good, you guys. I have 6, 7, and 8 left. I have 3 episodes left. So that's what I'll talk about last night in a second. So there's a part in it, if you've seen it, where they make like, they do like, she and her husband and the kids, they do like this make your own pizza night kind of thing where they each make their own pizzas. And the pizzas looked exactly like the pizzas that I order, which is called the paparazzi from Basbo's. I get a paparazzi with no bacon. It's basically the quattro formaggio from Basbo's, but Basbo's doesn't deliver, or I would have gotten that. And it's like a 4-cheese pizza. And it has like ricotta, and it's so, oh my God, it's so good. So I haven't really been door dashing, you know, much at all. And then I also haven't really been door dashing. I don't even know the last time that I door dashed at Puccini's, which is like one of my favorite places. And so last night, I was so craving getting pizza from Puccini's. But I ended up having one of the salads from Trader Joe's. And then I had a packet of these crackers that I got, these wheat and cheese crackers that I got that are like 190 calories or something like that. And the salad came to like, it was actually, the salad was more than I thought it was because I didn't realize that there's like 3 servings for the container. And it was like 130 calories per serving, and with the dressing, so it ended up coming to what is that, 430 or something like that calories. But anyway, not bad. The salad was delicious. It was the one that has, well, it had cornbread croutons in it, which was really good. And then it also had like a barbecue. I don't know which one it was. I just showed it in my Peter Does Stuff in a haul that I did with Caroline on Wednesday. It had the barbecue dressing in it. I'd never had it before. It was like sweet and spicy barbecue dressing. It was really, really good. So I ate that last night. That's what I was eating while I was watching Amazing Race. And I ate that. Didn't get the pizza. I'm very, very proud of myself. Alex and I were talking about it at lunch. It's hard. I literally don't have any snacks in the house at all. Nothing to put in the air fryer. No like candy. I just don't have anything. Well, like I have 2 bags of cookies from Trader Joe's that I bought like 3 weeks ago. Those are for reviews. But the things with the reviews, like, and then I also have like 3 things of like Reese's candy, and those are for reviews. The things that I have been buying for review, like as soon as I'm done reviewing them, I bag them up and I give them to one of my neighbors or somebody, like a friend of mine. I'm not having that stuff in the house. So I'm making better choices with that. Still drinking, like yesterday I had, so it's like the green powder, the red powder, and then the protein shakes. So I'm drinking the protein shakes. I feel pretty good. I really do. It's slow, like one of my friends was like, well, you've been doing so good. I need to get to walking. I was going to walk last night and I didn't. And today I'm already like, it's so hot, but I want to walk because it's hot. And, my excuse was that it's too cold, and now my excuse is it's too hot. I think I am going to walk tonight because I started this book last night. So last night I took my nap, and then after that, I ended up taking a shower and putting on my cozy pajamas and stuff. I was so excited to watch my shows. Part of the problem is I'm getting like really, really tired early. I don't know if it's just not the last couple days. I haven't had a lot of sleep or whatever. So Nikki and I were texting. I talked to Tanya earlier. Nikki and I were texting. Who else did I talk to yesterday? I talked to somebody. Let me look and see. I talked to somebody so random yesterday. Who was it that I talked to? Oh, it's a friend I don't talk about on here. It's a sober friend of mine. I was like, who did I talk to for a really long time yesterday? Anyway, so Nikki and I were texting, and I was like, I said, let me finish this book, because I was reading that Hidden Pictures book. I looked at some of the pictures. I don't know that I was going to show you guys the update. So do you remember yesterday they had the tarp out? So this is the hosta that they smashed. It's not horrible, but it's smashed. But do you see before that tarp was all up there, now it's all like picked away. Here was my visitor last night. I told Nikki, I said, can you keep your pets at your house? Because they're now coming to visit me. Look at that little kitty cat. I was sitting on the front porch listening to my audiobook, and it came and walked over there last night. I got all the critters in the yard. See, I have all these screenshots of these TikToks that people keep sending me. Yeah, like this is the back patio yesterday, and now it's like none of that's out there. But they still have like a red tarp out there and stuff like that. So they've actually, like yesterday, they tried to clean up everything. When I looked, they had on top of the house, like all the roofing shingles, they had them like in segments, like roofed, like what do you call it? What are those cords called? I can't remember what those cords are called. We used to always use them on the boat when I was growing up as a kid. Bungee cords. They had them like bungee cord to the roof. And then it was like, they had it so organized last night on all of our roofs, because they hadn't done our 4th neighbors. She's getting the brunt of it today. God love her. I feel so bad. She was like, I did not realize it was going to be that loud. And I was like, well, I was going to text you because like yesterday they didn't really work on her house at all. It was just like, she and I were like the first. And I said, I was going to kind of, warn you that it's really, she's like, I did not realize it was this loud. And I was like, yeah, it's loud. And I patted her shoulder. I said, by the way, they didn't leave our house last night till almost 9. She goes, seriously? I said, seriously. I said, but they're working so fast and they're doing such great, work and stuff like that. They are phenomenal. So, so I was finishing Hidden Pictures last night. Okay, so here's my thoughts on Hidden Pictures, and I won't ruin it for anybody. So I put it up on Instagram and I said 5 out of 5. A couple people messaged me that they did not like the ending of something that comes out at the ending. I didn't really know how I felt about it either. I'm just going to be completely transparent. I don't want to ruin it for anybody. There were a couple things I was kind of confused about with the book, and I didn't know if it was consistent with the author's true feelings or if it was how they were trying to be with the characters, because the book is about a recovering addict, okay? I will say one thing that I do not love about all of these books that portray 12-step programs and all these movies that I watch. It's always a young woman with a male sponsor. I don't love that, okay? that is not a suggestion. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, okay? I'm not saying it doesn't happen at all. It absolutely happens. But that is not a suggestion of a 12-step program. The suggestion is that men sponsor men and women sponsor women. We have pamphlets that outline these things, okay? And the suggestion only changes that gay men can be sponsored by women and lesbians can be sponsored by men. So when you have all these books where it's like this 20-year-old woman is sponsored by, like I was watching Love After Lockup, and it's like this is like my third book in a row where it's a young woman that has this 60-year-old male sponsor. I mean, I feel like I've been reading this. I don't know why that's always the go-to. I don't know why in books we have to make this young female addict have a sponsor that is this kind of like strong, understanding older man, right? Why couldn't we have the sponsor be a 5-year older than this person? If the person is 22, how about 27-year-old really strong young female that's sponsoring her? Because that's reality in 12-step programs. I don't understand that. Or a 50-year-old mother with 4 kids that's never shot dope in her life but still understands addiction because she's lived it from another side. You know, I don't understand why it always has to be this perspective. I feel like it's painted so many. You want to talk about, I mean, we used to talk about this in BookTube a lot, like tropes. For me, like it is a stereotypical trope that young women always have older male sponsors in recovery. And the reality is it's just not that normal. It just isn't. Does it happen a couple times? Yeah. And in all honesty, they're kind of side-eyed a little bit. Like it's, I don't know. It's just, I mean, in recovery, I'm not saying it doesn't happen. It happens. But in recovery, like lineage is important. Like who sponsored you and where your sponsor came from and things like that. And when I asked my sponsor to sponsor me, you know, she said she needed to talk to her sponsor first. And she said, you know, if you were earlier in sobriety, I probably wouldn't have sponsored a male, even a gay male in sobriety, because I feel like you would have needed to hear it from a man that understood your perspective. Which the things that I struggled with that had to do with being a man in recovery earlier, that totally makes sense, right? And I think that people don't sometimes understand this, and I don't really know how. There are issues that are specific to whatever you're, okay, anyway, so, but I don't understand why we always have to paint that picture in books and movies. I feel like I read it more often than not, and you know, that show, that fantastic show that got canceled on Hulu, Single Drunk Female, I think it was called, like her sponsor was so consistent with what I see in recovery, you know? I mean, here, I'll be honest with you, what I see in recovery. I see men and women that, let's say there's, you know who they are, and they sponsor way too many people, and, you know, then there's somebody that sponsors 2 or 3 people, and I don't know, it's just how that was portrayed in Single White Female, I thought was so fantastically done. And I've gone to enough meetings, and I've gone to enough meetings in Indianapolis and around the place. I've known enough people in recovery all over the world that I know it's pretty consistent. And so when it's this constant picture that's portrayed, I don't understand why that needs to be done. I almost kind of feel like it's this savior mentality that it really, to be honest with you, I like, his name's Russell in the book, her sponsor. I liked him, but you don't really get to know him that well, and you can tell he really cares about her. But what I didn't understand is why did it need to be a man? Why couldn't it be a woman? Especially when you're talking about a book of like women helping women and things like that. I didn't really understand it. And then there was a lot of religiosity in the book. Like she's very, very religious. But they don't really explain ever why she's really religious, except for that she's sober. Which, and I thought the book was pretty true to recovery. I just don't know that many people that don't have a history with religion or that come in and they're like, yes, you know, and it would never be like, Jesus saved my life. Like it would, I mean, 12-step programs they're not specific to any one religiosity. So it wouldn't be that, unless they had got in and started going to churches and stuff. But then there's other stuff in there, and I don't want to ruin it for anybody because it will ruin the end of the book for you. I don't know how I felt about it. I will tell you, okay, I really, if it wasn't for how the ending of the book played out, the book would have got a 4 for me. I ended up giving it a 5 because there were so many different things that happened at the end of the book. I do know why people are upset with the book because at first, it really, for me, I was like, I don't like what they're doing with this. I don't like that this is how it's being portrayed and the language that's being used. Then when I fully understood it, I was like, oh, now it makes sense. But then afterwards, what I felt like was, I don't really know how I feel about it being used as a writing tool, if that makes sense, for suspense. But I also think 20 years ago, that's not even a discussion that we would have had. I thought it was a good book. I thought it was well done. I have some issues with it. I have issues with all books. But it's a thriller. I will say this. It felt very, like, 3-4-ish to me until the very end. And there is a paranormal aspect to it. There absolutely is. So it reminds me of the Simone St. James books. I thought it was good. I actually had his other book downloaded, the last one at the wedding or whatever. So as I'm finishing the book up, I'm like going through my library because I'm like, what am I going to read next? Like, I'm so excited to start listening to another audiobook. Also, I sat out here for like an hour and I like read a chapter from all of my physical copy books last night. So, by the way, this coffee is so good today. So I was like going through all of my books, right, on my library. Well, I was like kind of like randomly picking them. I should just read through some of these titles, and you guys tell me. You pick my next pick for me, okay? Well, let me tell you what I picked. So it was between the next A.J. Rivers book, because I was like, okay, maybe it's short. So I was like, I can finish that in a day or two. So maybe I should give it a shot and see, like, you know, if this A.J. Rivers series that Nikki likes is really that good. Then I realized, first of all, I have 566 unread books that I've never started in my library. 566. 566. Do you guys realize how ridiculous that is? Okay. So, even if I live another 50 years, I'll never read that list that many books if I don't ever buy another book, which is not going to happen. So, I was going back and I was rolling back and seeing like what books I had. I forgot that like last summer, I can't remember the book I read was. Oh, you know what? It's the Alicia Bassett book. That Mustang Island is the second one that I've been waiting all year to read. It's a cozy mystery. Do you guys remember? It's about the mom, like, falls out of the lighthouse, that one. And she ends up working at the bookstore, for you guys that read it with me. I can't remember. The first one's called The Smile Beach Murders. I loved it. But when she goes back there, her mom loved Mary Higgins Clark. And so I think I read it right before God in the Woods, or right after, I don't remember. Which, by the way, they're making into a TV special. And I also did not know, and I already had purchased, Long Bright River, which was also written by Liz Moore, who wrote God of the Woods, which I didn't love. I thought it was just okay. But I bought it because it was recommended. It was like Barack Obama or somebody made like, I think it was Barack Obama's like list of top 10 books for the last year. That was before I knew about the show. So I bought it. Now I've watched the show and I don't want to listen to the book. You can return credits to Audible, but I never do. They just are wait. It's like that one shirt you buy and you can't wait to wear. It sits in your closet for 20 years and you never wear it. It's got tags on it and you're looking at it, you're like, oh, tomorrow, you know. So I was looking through all these books. So then I had Stranger is Watching and Where Are the Children by Mary Higgins Clark. They're both like 6 hours and 30 minutes, which for me at 2 times 5 speed is like a 2.5 hour book. So I was like, I could get right through this. I don't know the last time. I think I read maybe half or maybe, I don't know, the whole thing of a Mary Higgins Clark book in high school. I have kind of a feeling that once I start them, I won't stop them. By the way, something else I'm thinking about doing is it keeps on coming up for me. I think I started it. Oh, you guys that watch me regularly will remember. I don't really remember when I did this, but I'm thinking about doing it this summer. I want to go in and watch all. My mom and I watched them when I was growing up. I don't remember any specific episodes, but I think it was like last summer or maybe the summer before I started watching Murder, She Wrote from the very beginning, but I didn't make it very many episodes in. So I'm thinking about going in and rewatching Murder, She Wrote all the way through. Does anybody want to watch it with me? Who wants to watch Murder, She Wrote with me? I think it's on like, here, let's look it up. I think it's on Paramount or Peacock. I can hear the theme in my song in my head. Murder, She Wrote, watch. Peacock, Amazon Prime, Philo, Slang TV. Nikki is the only person I know that has Philo. I've never even heard of that before I started. Okay, so anyway, so I was going through all these books. Well, I've been wanting to read this book called Dungeon Crawler Carl. Okay, it was on Jordy's best books of 20, like the best books, top 10 favorite books ever, or something like that. And when I read it, it kind of gave me Ready Player One vibes, which I loved, by Ernest Cline, which is not something that I usually read. I'm not a science fiction person, okay? I am a post-apocalyptic person, but I'm talking about like, anyway, It also kind of reminds me a little bit of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, is what this reminds me of, that we read the first year for Peter's Book Club years and years and years ago, which I'd never read before. So let me go in here. Who is texting me, first of all? Okay, so first of all, let's go in here and read the synopsis for you guys, because you're going to be hearing me talk a lot about this, because I think I'm going to read all the books. Title details. Okay. This is totally not something that Peter Monn would read. The synopsis is long. The apocalypse will be televised. A man, his ex-girlfriend's cat, whose name is Princess Donut, a sadistic game show unlike anything in the universe. First of all, the whole spin to this is very funny, okay? A dungeon crawl where survival depends on killing your prey in the most entertaining way possible. So they're talking a lot. So the cat becomes like, has a human voice that he's now watching, and she's a show cat. So she's like princess, like you must take care of me kind of thing, like Princess Leia. But she's like always wanting to come up with catchphrases. Because like if they have catchphrases, then people will follow them on this reality TV show about the end of the world. It's so stupid, I'm loving it. In a flash, every human erected construction on Earth, from Buckingham Palace to the tiniest of sheds, collapses in a heap, sinking to the ground. The buildings and all the people inside have all been atomized and transformed into the dungeon, an 18-level labyrinth. So like millions of people are killed like in an instant. The only people that are not killed are people that are outside of buildings. Every other building is just leveled. And it's all because this huge corporation owns Earth that we made a deal with years ago, but nobody knows. We made a deal with like when the pyramids were put up. From these alien people. A dungeon so enormous it circles the entire globe. Only a few dare venture inside, but once you're in, you can't get out. And what's worse, each level has a time limit. You have but days to find a staircase to the next level down, or it's game over. In this game, it's not about your strength or your dexterity, it's about your followers, your views, your clout. It's about building an audience, because they watch them like 24 hours a day like Big Brother. It's about building an audience and killing those goblins with style. You can't just survive here, you gotta survive big. You got to fight with vigor, with excitement. You got to make them stand up and cheer. And if you do it, and if you do have that it factor, you may just find yourself with a following. That's the only way to truly survive in this game. With the help of the loot boxes dropped upon you by the generous benefactors, so it's kind of like a video game too. Generous benefactors, and Hunger Games a little bit. Benefactors watching from across the galaxy. They call it Dungeon Crawler World, but for Carl, it's anything but a game. Okay, there's 7 books. I think the 7th book comes out, or the 8th book comes out this November, because I just looked. So I posted it on Instagram, okay? And my sister-in-law, Jessie, she messages me. Oh, she just messaged me again. So she said, because, you know, everybody calls Fufu Juan, except for Alex and I. So she said, Juan is obsessed with this series. And I said, I was thinking of him last night when I started it, because it reminded me of stuff he liked to read when I met him. So when Alex and I first started dating, I think Fufu was 15. And so we would talk a lot about books and stuff. Like when I would go over there for dinner, Alex and I would go over to his mom's house for dinner. And it'd be like Alex and I and his brother and like his mom's then boyfriend. And so we would like sit there and like Fufu and I would talk about books and stuff like that. And he was really into the Percy Jackson series. And so if I were because Alex and I would go to lunch on Sundays, and then we would go to Barnes & Noble around the corner, and I would get Fufu like whatever Percy Jackson book was, because he'd be like, I don't have enough money to get it. And I was like, oh, I'll get you the book, whatever. And so anyway, I was telling her about this, and then she said, I love that. You should definitely talk about those books with him. Well, what's funny is she didn't know this, but at the same time, he's messaging me. And he was like, read all 7 of the series, love it. And I said, oh my God, I was thinking of you last night when I started it, because it reminded me of what you read when I first met you. Plus, you and Carl have very similar senses of humor. Fufu and Dungeon Carl have like they're kind of the same age. Like they're 31. I think Carl's like 28, Fufu's like 31, almost 32. So they're very like similar kind of senses of humor, very sarcastic. And he said, LOL, do you remember what I was reading when we met? Because I don't. And Interested to hear what you think about book 1. I said I'm listening to the Audible, which is narrated really well. I'm loving it. You were reading the Percy Jackson books. I used to buy them because you couldn't buy them for yourself. And you said, wow, that's awesome. I forgot about that. And so anyway, but it's just so funny that I've had so many people that have reached out to me about their dungeon. I'm telling you, don't miss out on this. Because I almost was like, this is not really like a book that I think that I would really like. And I absolutely just, I don't know. I'm loving it so much. So it's so funny. Jesse and I read a lot of the very same things. Like all the thrillers, we read the same. So it's funny that like Fufu and I are reading something that is very similar. He reads a lot. Oh, well, that's not true necessarily, because like he, a couple years ago, started reading Michael Crichton, because he was like, what's your favorite Michael Crichton? Because he knows I read a lot. We got talking about it somehow. But he reads like the Dan Brown books too. He was asked, what was he reading? The Dan Brown book that starts with an O. I love the Dan Brown books. Love. You want to talk about a binge-worthy book? Dan Brown books. Maybe he was reading The Inferno. Oh, Origin was what he was reading. It came out in 2017. I have not read Digital Fortress and Deception Point all the way through. Has anybody read them? Are they worth it? I read all the other ones. The Secrets of Secrets. What is it about, though? It doesn't say anything about it. But it's a Robert Langdon book. So he was reading The Origin, and we were talking about Dan Brown books. He likes the big, thick, action-packed books and stuff like that. So anyway, I'm really excited about this. And, you know, then it gives Fufu and I something else to talk about. And they're coming home in a couple weeks, so it'll be fun to talk about that. But anyway, so I started that last night. And I was, like, sitting here. Nikki had gone to bed, and so I was just like sitting here because we were gonna like maybe do puzzles or something. I was listening to this book, trying to finish this book. So I came inside and I lit all the candles, and I was like, I just want to sit here. And so I played like puzzles for like an hour, or I played puzzles. I did puzzles for like an hour, listening to this book. I could not stop listening to this book. This is how good this book is. This is totally not something that I would ever typically listen to. It kind of feels like you're watching a movie, while you like an adventure movie while you're reading it. So I did that, and then I watched more of, I'm caught up on all my shows. Alex said, we have Real Housewives of Atlanta and RuPaul, because he was asking me, like, tonight, what shows, he was like, what show do you want to watch first? And I said, oh, probably Atlanta, to get it out of the way, and because I'm more excited about RuPaul. So we've got Real Housewives of Atlanta, RuPaul, and then, oh, Love After Lockup is on tonight. Nikki and I will watch that together. And then Hacks, and I'm completely caught up. So on all my shows for this week. Oh, Secret Lives of Mormon Wives came out. People are asking me if I'm going to cover it. I don't really know how to do it. So I can't remember what I did last time. I think I just did like two videos about it. For those of you that have watched it, should I do like watch an episode, do a reaction, watch 2 episodes, do a reaction to 2 episodes? It's like 10 episodes, right? Or should I watch the whole season and do a reaction to it? I feel like that's a lot. I'm thinking about doing 2 episodes reaction, 2 episodes reaction, and do that as filler this week. But I also have a lot of videos to make, because I have like 2 true crimes that I didn't even get to this week. So anyway, got Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. But I watched, so I was halfway through episode 3. So I finished that and then watched 4 and 5, and then I went to bed. No, I started 6. I'm like halfway through 6, episode 6 of Happy Face. It's really, really good. Is it Happy Face or Smiley Face? Happy Face. It's really good, you guys. I'm really, really, really good. And there's like, when you watch shows and it's got all these subplots that you don't like really know what's going to happen. Like there's a subplot with the granddaughter or her daughter. There's like the subplot with the neighbor. There's like all this stuff that you're like, what is going to happen with all this? You feel like it's just going to blow up. I will tell you what is so funny is, I was talking to Nikki last night about the show, and she was like, is it based on a book? And we were looking it up. So this is based on a true story by this Melissa woman that her dad was a serial killer, and she wrote a book about it. I looked up the picture of her. If you've watched the show, look up the picture of the real Melissa. She looks identical to the actress that plays the show. So, but I'm really, really liking it. So yeah, today I'm going to, when I get done with this, well, Alex will probably be getting ready here in just a little bit, for his open house. I dread an open house. You know what? You know, like, there are certain things you have to do as you get older. Thank God, like, I don't. I mean, this is like a work thing, so this has nothing to do with me. But I don't think any of the husbands are going. But it's like, I feel like there were years where we were going to like 3 or 4 open houses, like a weekend for a while. And, you know, I was telling Alex this today because we were talking about like, you know, like gifts and whatever. And I said, well, that's kind of like why people like invite you to their open house, is it's really for gifts, you know? I mean, if like, listen, if you're Aunt Susie or Aunt Judy or something like that, right? And you've grown up, obviously they're inviting you to the open house because they want to see you. But let's just be for real, okay? A lot of open houses are for like college and high school graduations are for, I didn't have either. I had a little party after I graduated with like my mom's aunt and uncle. I don't even know why they were there. It was so random. And then like she surprised me with like a couple of my friends. Oh, no, wait. That was my birthday, my 16th birthday. My graduation was my mom's aunt and uncle, my Aunt Kathy and Uncle Dave, Caroline. And it was just really, really small. I didn't have an open house. My graduation, my college graduation, I got it stopped. I'm at an hour, I didn't even realize it. My college graduation and my master's graduation, I didn't walk either one of those. And in fact, I worked both of those days. So, and I think that people should, they should, you know, should do whatever, you know, makes them happy and all that kind of stuff. But let's just be for real. When you have an open house and you're inviting like 100, 200 people, stop by whenever you want. That's because you want a gift, because it's, you know, a great achievement. And it is, and it's a great achievement, all that kind of stuff. But let's just be for what it is, you know. This one comedian that I love, and she does this whole thing about, who is this? She's this whole thing about like, if the last time I talked to you was when you were sending out an invitation about your baby being born, do not send me an open house invitation. And I am totally there with that 100%. I agree with that. Especially, times are tough, okay? Times are tough. Grandma and Aunt Judy and Aunt Susie and the godparents, yes, 100%, okay? And friends of the family and all that want to come over, and, you know, and it's like $50, $100 is like, I'm just telling you that when we go, it's like, that's kind of just like, oh, thanks. You know, $100 is just like, oh, thanks. Like, you know, and so I don't know. I'm just like, I am not, unless it's somebody that like we know really, really well, or like the child of like a very dear friend of mine, baby, I don't do open houses no more. No, don't even invite me to them. No, don't. Gender reveal parties, just let me know. You'll put it on Facebook anyway. You know what I mean? Now, weddings I do kind of like today because I don't have to be in them anymore. There was like a period of about 5 or 6 years where Alex and I were always in the weddings. And so, and it was always that we were friends with both of them, but we were friends with the girl first. Usually it was like Alex's, you know, friend from college or whatever. And then we get to know the husband. So we were friends with both of them. They want us in the wedding. So they put us at both ends like salt and pepper shakers. No, true story, they did. You know, Alex and I would always be dressed like twins, and then we'd be at the end. I'd be at the end of the grooms, and he'd be at the end of the groomsmen, and he'd be at the end of the bridesmaids. And so I don't know how old I was, but I was like, I don't need to be in a wedding no more. Okay? Don't ask me to read. Don't ask me to, I don't want to be in a wedding anymore. And so now I just get to go, and I get to just, like, Alex will probably be in some of these weddings of his friends, but that'll be totally fine. I can just sit there in the audience and look handsome in a suit and eat me a piece of wedding cake. You know what I mean? Do a little dance. That's what I love about a wedding. Okay? I do not have to. That's why I figured it out now, right? Like, that's why my mom and her friends back in the day, when she was like my age, no, truly, oh my God, my mom was not Trula Brown. That joke is so old at this point. Okay, the battery went to the halfway mark, but should I'll wait here a second. But every time I say truly, a couple people have commented on there. There's one person that said, every time I hear truly, I think of Truly Brown because you always say that. But anyway, my mom was probably, because it was right after she got sober that she started going to like all her, because it would make total sense because all of her friends, their grandkids were graduating, you know, from, oh, no, wait, that's not true. It would have been their kids were graduating. Yeah, their kids. I'm thinking Susie. I'm like, Susie's oldest granddaughter graduated from IU like 4 years ago. And then, or 2 years ago, I'm like thinking of, Susie's grandkids are like 24 all the way down to like 14. But anyway, I can remember my mom talking about, oh, you know, her and her sorority sisters, you know, it'd be like 3 of them went to this wedding, and she'd be like, we were the last one on the dance floors. We just danced all night long. We stopped and had cake. You know, we went outside and we smoked a cigarette. We were all talking about the old times. It was so nice. The weather was so nice. We talked about how we should all like watch movies and have a sleepover. And she's like, but we danced. We danced every song. We loved it. Well, now I understand why my mom loved weddings, because they just put all the sorority sisters together, like if it was like the grandma or whatever, or the mom, or they put like all the friends together at a table, and it was just like they were having a blast eating cake and dancing for 4 hours. They weren't in the wedding. They had no responsibilities. They didn't have to do no coat checks. They didn't have to do nothing. They just showed up, danced, and ate the food. Well, I get it today, because that's what I do. That's what I do today. I don't care if I know who's getting married. I don't care. I'll just show up, put on a nice suit and show up. This is the thing about it, right? It's like, so I think you guys know I don't love to dress up every day, I should say. But I do like to get dressed up. Like, I do like to put on a suit, and I feel like I look nice in a suit sometimes. So I do like wearing a suit and tie. I just don't want to have a job where I have to do it every day, when I can sit here in a pair of brown shorts and a black t-shirt and the hat that I wear every day. Oh my God, yesterday I started wearing this corduroy Beverly Hills Hotel hat that I bought. So you know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to go in there and, where am I at on time? And I'm going to get another battery so I can, yeah, I'm going to get another battery so I can end this, and I'll be back in 2 and 2. Okay, I'm back. I cannot believe that I have been vlogging for over an hour. I was just thinking as I was getting the battery, I was like, you know what? Like, it's so sunny outside today, but I was like, I'm kind of really excited about, I think when he leaves, because unless they go have dinner or something after that, he'll be back home. I think I'm going to go and take a walk and listen to this Dungeon Crawler Carl, and then come back and take a shower and get all ready for the evening to just watch our shows, and we may end up watching them tomorrow. So listen to books. If we end up watching the shows, there's a couple movies I want to watch too. There's a couple like horror movies on Netflix. I was going to ask Alex about them. Oh, Deep Breath is one of them. I think Nikki and Tanya both watched it and really liked it. That's not a horror movie, but the one on horror that Netflix said, has anybody heard of? It's called like Valentine's Day or something. It's new. It's on like the top 10 movies. I was thinking about that. I love watching, there's something about watching scary movies in the summer. And I actually ordered this book last night. I saw somebody put it up and they had just seen the movie. And I feel like months ago, I saw, somebody out there will know what I'm talking about, so please educate me. But it's like an amateur-made horror movie called Clowns in the Cornfield. But it's based on a set of 3 like young adult horror movies or horror books. And so I bought the first one last night. I was going to buy the whole series, and I was like, no, don't buy the whole series, and because you might not end up liking it. So I thought for summer it'd be fun. It's about this clown that won't leave these like kids alone in this town or something. They turned it into a horror movie. It's very much kind of like I Know What You Did Last Summer. So I thought that would be fun to read. But it's new. It just came out I think it came out last year or something, or the year before, 2021, I think. And then they made the movie last year or something like that. So does anybody know about that? But anyway, here, let's do a little update, okay, for the vlog class. Number 1, the roofing, weather permitting, will be done tomorrow. If not done tomorrow, Sunday. I'm very happy about that. And I will be taking the rest of the weekend, other than vlogging, to just relax. Unless for some reason I get a wild hair and I'm just like, if tomorrow Alex would be like, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna go do all this kind of stuff and he's gonna be gone for a while, I probably would film a bunch of videos. But also maybe not, I don't know. If not, we'll probably just go somewhere else for brunch tomorrow, try something different. It might be a weekend of brunches, books, and vlogs, I don't know. And then tonight I'm going to walk, I'm gonna listen to my audiobook, I'm gonna read, I'm gonna finish Happy Face, start something else. I think I might start Squid Games. Is that what it's called? Because season 3 is coming out and I want to watch the first 2 seasons. I've heard from so many people that it's so good. So I might start that tonight, actually. You know what I was really thinking? I'm not a big, like, unless it's a show that, like Love Boat or something like that, I'm not a big rewatch, and even Love Boat, I just like episode here and there. I'm not somebody that rewatches shows very often, but I was actually thinking about this summer rewatching Stranger Things from the very beginning because it's such a good summer show to watch. I don't know. What if I watched Stranger Things from the very beginning and did reactions to it on my Peter Watches TV channel? See, I just am constantly coming up with all these like just silly ideas, aren't I? Let's think about that, shall we? Let's think about that. Okay. There's also Stranger Things books. Now I'm going down this whole thing, like, do the Stranger Things, buy the books, review the books, watch the shows, all this kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm just excited for having kind of a relaxing evening and weekend. But I will still be vlogging. So I don't want anybody to, what is this? Okay, I wanted to go in here to some of the comments. Am I in the vlog already? Oh yeah, because I was reading the comments from yesterday. Hey Vic! Vic left a blue heart on my vlog, good days and bad days. Somebody said, wow, you talking about your mom and not visiting a cemetery reminds me that I also have no connection to my parents' gravesite. And I do feel guilty, especially when I do go after so long and the marker is overgrown. Well, okay, so the cemetery that my mom's at, they keep all that stuff very, very clean. I do know that. And like my friend whose mom is buried 10 feet away from my mom, she lives in Oakland, California. So she very rarely goes out there too. Which I think is another interesting thing with guilt. It's like, so I should feel guilty because I live in Indianapolis and I don't ever visit the gravesite, but my friend that lives in California and hasn't been home in 5 years doesn't fly home specifically, so she shouldn't feel guilty about it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just don't feel anything out there. And I know that if my mom was here, I mean, my mom and I literally had the conversation. She said, do not get attached to my body. And you know, and my mom and I never went to go visit grave sites of people when I was growing up. Very rarely did we. I mean, she liked cemeteries of like famous people and stuff, but it wasn't like we would go out to my grandma's gravesite and she would be like, oh my God, this is where your grandma is. Now my grandma on my dad's side, I can remember when I would be in Fort Wayne for the summers, she and I and my aunt would go to my grandfather's after one summer I was up there, my grandfather passed away. I think he was 74 when he passed away. We would go to his gravesite and put flowers. And my grandma had a connection to that. And listen, this is the thing. Those are the things I'm kind of afraid sometimes of sharing on camera because I don't want somebody to feel like, just because it doesn't work for me, I'm like knocking what somebody else does. Like if you want to go to the cemetery every day and you find peace from that and serenity and closure, like you should do that. For me, it's just not where I find it. I literally find it more like looking through pictures of my mom or listening to like a Judy Collins song or something, you know? It's like, it was funny because in the book, what was the book? It was at the very end of Hidden Pictures. She says something about some song that her parents listened to, Joni Mitchell song, and she like read lyrics from both sides now. I don't know, I just feel like it would mean more to my mom if I honored her memory by living her memory out, like watching some of her favorite movies, listening to her favorite songs, telling stories about her, you know, I think lessons that I learned from her. I think that would mean more to my mom than me standing next to her gravestone saying, I miss you, Mom. I think she'd say, I'm not there. That's not me. So I don't know, but that's just my situation. I know lots of people that find a lot of peace and a lot of closure from going out to gravesites, and they should. And I don't dog that at all. Like, I think it's such a personal thing. You can't tell somebody else what to do with it. But I'm not gonna feel guilty about it. What am I gonna feel guilty about? Here's the thing, right? I feel like guilt is either one of two things, okay? I think that guilt is either moves us in the direction of making personal changes, of being a better person. If I feel guilty about something, it's because I feel like I did something wrong or whatever, you know, or acted in a way that was wrong or said something that was wrong or whatever, or I feel like I haven't shown up for somebody and I feel guilty because of that. So it's a learning experience. I can learn from that. I can start showing up for people in the future or doing things. That's the first thing I think about guilt. The other thing I think about guilt is that if it's not that, it's pointless. It serves absolutely no purpose. Truly, truly, truly. Brown. When I got sober, I remember my mom talking about how much guilt she felt about like her drinking around me and whatever, you know? And I had this conversation with her. She would talk about her guilt over my using all the time. And I'd say, you know what, Mom, that's like really, well, that was after she got sober. So we would have those conversations. And I'd say, it's really unfair for you to say that. Because if you feel guilt over my drinking, what that means is that if you can go back and change that and not have drank around me or whatever, which wasn't what made me an alcoholic to begin with, did it maybe contribute to it? Slightly. But no, I don't think that that's what did it for me 100%. And if she goes back, then she's responsible for my sobriety as well, and that's not fair. Not to mention, how is your guilt working for you? Like, that's the question I would ask somebody. Like, there's a difference between feeling responsible, feeling accountable, and feeling guilty. I feel like guilt is a negative. Unless you're going to learn from it, what's the point? You know, I am not going to feel guilty about a cemetery that I don't visit, that I don't think my mom would care or know that I ever went to go visit in the first place. There's no point for me to feel guilty about it. What I think in those moments that I have in the past is that I was worried about other people's judgment. That other people would look at me and go, oh, he doesn't ever go out to his mom's gravesite. Well, that's between my mom and I and God. That's not really between anybody else's judgment. I guess they can make those judgments. People make judgments about me and you and everybody on a daily basis. And they might know everything about our life, or they might not know anything about our life. But really, on the last day of my life here on earth, I don't really think their judgment is what I'm going to be spending my time thinking about. I hope, if I have time to look back on my life, I hope that's not where my obsession and my, you know what I mean? Like, I would hope that my focus is on the fact of the moments that I spent with my mom and the moments I spent with you guys filming videos, or with my friends and books I've read and whatever, and experiences I've had and trips that I've taken, and, you know, Alex and I laughing on a beach together or in a hotel room, you know, just having like some middle of the night conversation, or I don't driving around with Tanya Jean, you know, talking over a fountain pop. Those are the things I hope I'm thinking about. There's a power into just kind of letting go of some of that stuff, because people are going to think what people are going to think, and you got to do what you're going to do for you. And if you don't want to go to a cemetery, don't go to a cemetery. And if you want to go to a cemetery every day, go to a cemetery every day. And that choice should not be based on what somebody else thinks you should or shouldn't do, especially not a serious situation like that with grief. I've kind of had to learn that the hard way, you know? Hannah said, the Indy 500 sounds miserable to me. LOL, I like to stay in my house. People love it or people hate it. That's all I can say about the Indy 500. Candace said, hey Candace. She said, I am living for the chair vlog today. Gave me old school drama vibe. So this is the chair I used to, I had the ring light right there, which is sitting over there. Alex's ring light's over there. And I used to, every week, I think, I should do the drama video on this phone. The problem is because of okay, so, I don't know if y'all can see, but do you see there's a kitchen window. So, the lighting is, there's Alex's wax melt that says, you don't know me, bish, or something like that, that one of his friends gave him. So anyway, which was not there when I used to film videos back in the day. But because of the window behind there, it goes in and out of focus so badly all the time. I mean, the focus is really, really bad. So I'm like, you know what? It's hard to film. That's why the bedroom is better, but then people are like, well, it goes out of focus in the bedroom too. It goes out of focus to me sitting right here. I'm like, I thought it was really good yesterday, and I was out of focus the whole day. But thank you, Candace! Candace has been around forever. Ash said, oh, she commented a couple times. She said, just finished the vlog. And, oh, Peter, thanks for reading my comment on the vlog. You're welcome. I love that. I love to read comments. I read every single comment, you know. It's important for me to do that. Every letter that I ever get sent, I read. Sometimes I respond to them. Every DM that I get, I typically read. I just, maybe not on a timely manner. Yeah, that's why I do the unboxings on my Peter Does Stuff channel, because I think it's so sweet when people send me stuff. Yeah, I read all the comments, but I like to do videos dedicated to just reading comments too. I used to do it a lot more. I haven't done it so much anymore. Hassie said, hey girl, she's been around forever too. It's super hot in Florida today. I'm at lunch. I stand for 30 minutes since I sit most of the day. Oh my God, it must be so hot. What'd you say it was? Oh, if it's hot here, it's gotta be hot in Florida. Oh, Robin, hey Robin. She said, I did all that race stuff in my teens, early 20s. No desire to go back now. I don't know if I said this the other day. The only way I would go back is to actually go and watch the race. This is so bad, okay? But I don't know enough about it. I don't know anything about the race. I don't know the times. Couldn't even tell you how many laps they do. I know there's a golf course inside the track. That's how big it is. I don't care, okay? I don't care. I said I would probably only go back. I wouldn't go for the snake pit if I went to actually watch the race. I think I said it the other day, because Alex was like, would you ever come back? And I said, yeah, if we were going to watch the race. But I don't even have a desire to do that, to sit on, unless I got invited to a suite, but even then, I don't really care. to sit in traffic for 3 hours there and 3 hours back in an Uber. No, I don't think so. That's not fun for me. Can you imagine being an Uber driver during all of that? Oh my God, that would be pure hell. Dane's, hey Dane, she said, I love this vlog vacation. Aww. Okay, she said, I'm about a third of the way through the guest list, and then I'm starting the last thing he told me. I can't wait. That's what Nikki's reading right now, the last thing he told me. The guest list, who is it by? Not Alice Foley. Who's it by? Lucy Foley. Lucy something. Anyway, that was on my list last night when I was looking through that. Felicity said, love the chair spot. Sam said, I love the roof ASMR in the background. New channel, Peter's Roof Repair ASMR. That would actually be kind of a cute name. That would be so funny. Joni said, Joni loves Tachi, said, listening to this video while dealing with the stresses at work calms me. I love your vlogs. Thank you, Peter. Oh, you are so sweet. I hope work goes well for you today. El Nickerson said, you guys have all been around for a long time. Waiting for you to start The Stand. Okay, I actually looked at that last night. I think it's 25 hours on Audible. Hold on a second. I have it already on Audible. The Stand. It's some ridiculous amount of hours. It says in your library. Oh no, I was wrong. 47 hours and 47 minutes. Is it really worth it? I've had so many people tell me that it's bullshit, if you want to know the truth, okay? So should I really start it? I mean, maybe I should try to start some longer books this summer. I don't know. Ashlyn said, oh my God, all the mess. It's like a tornado tore through the neighborhood. Did I show you guys? Okay, so they cleaned it all up last night before they left. I don't know if I took a picture of it when they cleaned it all up. Hold on. No, you can't really see it in that picture. I didn't really take a picture. Well, I mean, you can see it here because of the cat picture. They cleaned it all up. But last night, it's a mess out there again today, but they cleaned up everything. Which was, I mean, it looked pretty nice last night. Sally, hey Sally. She said, Pittsburgh weather is the same as you. They call for rain and it never rains. They say sunshine and it rains. It's maddening. It's maddening, I tell you. When you're playing outside events, I used to watch the soap Guiding Light. Loved it. Oh my God, I forgot all about Guiding Light. Okay, I'm just skipping through some of these. Somebody said, I love feeding the birds too. Birds have a lot to access food sources in the summer. It's even more important to feed them through the winter when they don't have. I was just talking about that the other day when the Margaret Wrinkle book, she talked about, that's why she has the warming bird baths and the feeders. But I never really thought about that before. So you're basically saying what I was saying in my video the other day, but I am going to remember that this fall and winter is when I'm like going to heavily be feeding the birds a lot. But thank you for saying that. Okay. Oh, here, Terry said, roofers will be the only one that is loud. Painters will be quiet. Anyone ever? Mallory, say Mallory, said, so nostalgic having your vlog in the comfy indoor chair. P.S. The sounds from the roofers immediately reminded me of the aliens making noises trying to get in the house. The movie Signs. Oh my God. LOL, she said, which is like one of my favorite movies of life. I love alien movies, but Signs I love so much when they're sitting in the closet with the tin hats on. Oh my God, I love that movie. Anyway, so thank you, Mallory, for I might have to watch Signs. Well, you know I'm going to do that summer movie club. I think Signs would be a good movie for that. Because that's like, I love, well, Close Encounters of a Third Kind. It's kind of long. And Signs. Anyway, all right, I'm going to get off here. I need to kind of post for a thumbnail that, because like yesterday I kind of have a hard time picking one, but you guys all said it was real cute, so. All right, I'm going to get off here now, and I hope you guys are having, it feels like a Saturday to me. I hope you guys are having a magically amazing Friday and a fantastic beginning to your weekend. Pose. And if nobody else has told you this today, I love you guys, which that sound also kind of sounds like the clicking of an alien. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. And also, when the whole condos are done, and I will be doing like a repair update video on my Peter Does Stuff channel. So when I don't want to film it when the workers are out there working. That's not fair to them. So when they're all done, I will do that. But I will continue to vlog through the weekend. But probably other than that, unless I get some wild hair, you know, tomorrow to film a bunch of videos, which I might, you know, then I'll probably be back to fully on my other channels on Monday. I might feel that way tomorrow or Sunday. We'll just have to kind of play it by ear. So anyway, I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya. Happy birthday, Lena.